Hello, my name is Clayton Canon, and I'm pleased to be presenting this professional development opportunity on behalf of the Oklahoma Alliance for Geographic Education and the Oklahoma Department of Education. I've been teaching for 12 years. I spent my first 6 years at Western Oaks Middle School in Putnam City Schools District, and I have just started my 6th year at Yukon Middle School. All of those years, I've been teaching geography. I've taught both 6th grade Western Hemisphere and 7th grade Eastern Hemisphere. I am an OKH board member and teacher consultant, and I'm also a National Geographic certified teacher and regional steering committee member. I have a passion slash ulcer centered on the idea of the integration of technology in education to provide equitable access to a robust curriculum for all students. When I was approached to take on this session, I was initially at a loss concerning what the topic should be. I feel like that the 2020 school year has not started off as it normally would. And so as I thought about it and discussed it with colleagues at school, I decided that a conversation about education in 2020 was in order. So from that, I developed Teaching Geography with 2020 Vision. The term that has been thrown around by everyone since the beginning of the pandemic is unprecedented. Since the beginning of this all, it was impossible to turn on the news without hearing that word. Let's be honest though, does anyone even watch the news anymore? I'm almost afraid to turn the TV on. The field of education, and sometimes I feel like it's a battlefield, has not been left out in the changes that have been occurring. And so something that I would normally do with my students in class is I'd take the learning objectives that we have and turn those into I can statements so that they are more palatable for the students. They understand the language. And so what I've done is I've made some I can statements for teachers for 2020. Number 1, I can make it through my Zoom meeting while controlling my facial expressions. Number 2, I can make the choice not to yell at little Billy when I have to walk him through sharing his screen for the 226th time this week. Number 3, I can refrain from muting my volume and turning off my camera for the sake of screaming, "Why, God, why?" when I hear the words patience, grace, or flexibility. This is hopefully a session that can be used by teachers in many different contexts. Teachers from different grade levels, teachers from different content areas as well. We are going to be discussing what we have learned since the beginning of the COVID-geddon, and hopefully we will all walk away with something new to implement in class. Is anyone else tired? If you're anything like me, you may be a little discouraged as well. Is anyone else's tank on empty? Much is being said about teaching and learning these days. You cannot open Facebook or other social media without seeing polarized opinions about how wonderful or how awful teachers are right now. Per usual, there are individuals making decisions about the context of our classrooms without understanding said context. The perfect example of this is the CDC guidelines. Those were well-intentioned, but I wonder if anyone stopped and asked how many students are in the average classroom and how big the average classroom is. Along with all of the voices concerning education in 2020, there have emerged some that are honest and humorous. Do any of these messages resonate with you? One does not simply ask a 7th grader to share their screen. In The Lord of the Rings, Boromir knew the impossibility of getting the ring to Mount Doom, much like getting a 7th grader to share their screen in Zoom. Though Effie was dressed to the nines, she knew what the future might hold. And there are other voices. When you're finally adjusted to distance learning and hear parents complain wanting to go back full time. Anybody relate with this? Doctor, are you getting enough sleep? Me, make this face. Or what about Beetlejuice? How's everything going? You taking care of yourself? Teachers respond with this face. When a teacher is asked to reflect on their time during distance learning, I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do. Every teacher can relate to Michael Scott with this. Or what about Zoom meetings? Audio only, with video? Oh, how we miss the days of teaching in no makeup. Or teaching in our pajamas. And I know we've all gotten the questions from the public. Answer to all questions about the coming school year. About the coming school day. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Answer to all questions about the coming 5 minutes? I don't know. There's a lot of security knowing that a plan might last until the end of the week. In many ways, we feel like the engineers of the Apollo 13 mission.
Well, I suggest you gentlemen invent a way to put a square peg in a round hole. Rapidly.
Okay, people, listen up. People upstairs handed us this one, and we gotta come through. We gotta find a way to make this fit into the hole for this. Using nothing but that. Let's get it organized.
Okay, let's build a filter.
Maybe get some coffee.
The deadly CO2 gas is literally poisoning the astronauts with every breath in and out.
Heads up. Heads up, people. Look out now. What's this? That's what they gotta make.
Well, I hope you got the procedures for me.
Right here.
That's it?
Our jobs have always been weighty, but now they appear impossible. Before March 2020, our job descriptions included many duties, like being a mentor, being an encourager, grading, possibly being a copy repair person, behavioral analysis. And now, all of a sudden, I'm expected to be insert the name of the given tech company, genius, for students as well. As teachers, we know that our goal is always to provide students with the education that they need to go to the next step in life. And so really, with this new normal in education, what we're looking for, ironically, is a vaccine. And we all know what the vaccine is. We know that education is the vaccine for so much that ails our world today. Those of us in education saw many of the struggles of distance learning from a mile away. We knew there would be inequality of opportunities. That's not a shock to teachers. We see it and we live it every day. So we realize and we validate the thought that the struggle for a vaccine for the new normal in education is real. And as educators, we're concerned about many variables, and we have to deal with so many walls and hurdles. And that was before COVID-19. We have to be concerned with the mental health of our students. We have to be concerned with the practical needs of our students being met. And we have to be concerned with the equitable access to resources and a robust, supported curriculum. In some cases, we face the struggle and feel that eventually we'll smash the walls down.
Four-time Mr. University's off! Oh, number 4, stop. Gotta get some sort of footing.
He won't be stopped.
He's got to keep that momentum.
He keeps bouncing off.
This is not a good sign. He's still on the first row.
He started for the second row. Go get him, Mike! Slabs everywhere.
An absolutely extraordinary speed. He's got to be exhausted.
He's on to the last row. Oh, had a little trouble about break today. Hit it. Head up. You got 20 seconds. Through timing. Oh, but gets it to come down. Hits that one. Oh, he looks a little dizzy. He's a little woozy after that one.
Come on, Mike. One more time, baby.
The human body can only take so much.
Oh, he takes out 2 at once. I have never seen anything like that before. Hits one pane of glass so brutally hard. He wants it from the people. Oh, no.
The final pain, it might be too much.
Third attempt is a no-go.
I think he's had enough.
Oh, are you kidding me? Come on, Mike.
In other cases, we feel like we make very little progress.
Let's see if the all-new hurdles have any effect on that perpetually good-natured grin. Oh, takes one to the happy face and still smiling. My goodness, Johnny, these hurdles are brutal. I mean, she's taking it like a champ, but it's punishing to the gut. Johnny, a beating. Oh my God! Yikes! Vicky with a full-on backbend, and John, if you take a closer look, even as she's wiping out, she turns her frown upside down.
The situation at times seems an insurmountable task, but teachers always hold on to hope because of their own personal vision. I believe that the vision of education is to deliver students to the next step in life as well as possible. And this includes a number of things. This includes mental health. Even though we're not trained to do it, nurturing mental health in our students is required if we want them to learn. We have to focus on Maslow before Marzano. Students can't learn if their basic needs aren't being met. That's the physiological needs, food, water, safety. Where are they going to sleep? Are they going to be protected where they are? And then the needs of love and belonging. Unfortunately, many of our students, and sometimes many of our students' teachers, have deficits in having these needs met. We also want to focus on authentic, malleable learning. Futurist Alvin Toffler says the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but that the burden of education is to help students learn, unlearn, and learn anew. In response to these thoughts, the late Sir Ken Robinson said, the most important human asset which makes us distinctively human is the power of imagination. The irony is that our education system is systematically trying to stifle it or inhibit it in some way. Human imagination is the source of every form of human achievement in literature, sciences, arts, in human relationships, business, and economy. We have to prepare students for jobs and lives that they cannot even imagine, and that requires imagination for our students and for us. Technology is advancing at such a pace that our understanding of economy could be altered any second. 20 years ago, the idea of a watch that can measure my heartbeat, play music, allow me to communicate, and manage my day was only in movies. And then the third thing that's important is content. I personally believe that social studies, particularly geography, is the most important content area for practical living. We live in a polarized world, one where we have forgotten that it's okay to disagree and not burn each other's houses down. Students need social studies because we have lost the skill of positive social interaction, the idea of civil discourse. Geography is particularly important because at its core is the ideas of interaction between people and interaction between people and the earth. No matter what messages have been communicated to you, what you do as a teacher of the social sciences is so important, and it changed kids' lives. And all the talk about our vision of reaching students, it's easy to forget the teacher. Be kind to yourself. We cannot be the best us for our students if we aren't the best us for us. It's important that you set boundaries. Set boundaries with students, parents, colleagues, and administrators. It's okay to strategically choose our yeses. Accept that you are going to mess up, own it, and move on. We are all human after all. Give yourself grace. Realize that none of the mistakes that we make are final, and refer back to number 2 often. Check out this video of a teacher who truly gets it.
I've said this on plenty of live streams, but never on a video. Sometimes the nicest thing a teacher can do for a student is let them come in, lay their head down, and go to sleep. And here's a perfect example. I've got a student who came into class today and he was visibly upset. You could tell something was wrong, but it was early in the morning. Maybe he just had his coffee. So almost as soon as class starts, his buddy comes up to me and says, "Hey, be easy on this guy today. His grandfather died last night." My first thought is, why is he even here today? But my second thought is, he's here, so what can I do about it? I know I'm not going to call him out, and I know I'm not going to say anything in front of the whole class, but here's what I do. So we were taking a really big test. I passed them out to all the students, and everybody's got theirs, and then I go back to my desk and I write a little Post-it note. I walk it over to this guy and I stick it to his test, and it basically just says, "I'm sorry for your loss. I'm praying for you. You already have a 100 on this test. Don't even worry about it. Just turn it in." I don't say that to brag, and I don't say that to build myself up. I say that because sometimes as teachers, our tests are not as important as a student's personal life, and we all need to recognize that, students and teachers both.
Being kind to yourself helps you to be kind towards your students. It's okay for you to take care of yourself. Take a nap. Read a book. Go to a movie. Wait, never mind. Watch Disney Plus. Take your dog on a walk. Laugh. If we don't take care of ourselves, and if we don't take care of each other, this year is going to continue to be an insurmountable hill. I know that this is something that we all know, but sometimes we need to step back and remind ourselves of that. I know that I need to remind myself of this. All right, on to some practical things. I have put together a document, a crowdsourcing notes document for ideas for all of us to share of resources, best practices that we can collaborate with each other for best practices for atypical learning. I have included the bit.ly link right there. So if you just type that in, it's going to take you straight to the bit.ly. And this is a Padlet, so you guys will be able to add information as you have it. And I'll go ahead and show you that. Okay, so in this Padlet, I have 4 different columns: technology resources, content resources, classroom management resources, and then mental health resources. And so I have already listed a number of resources that I have found to be helpful for me in the past or this year. And I know that some of our partners, people from the Oklahoma Alliance for Geographic Education, the Oklahoma Council for the Social Studies, and even the State Department of Education are going to be adding resources to this. The vision for this is for it to be a living document that we continue to update, that people have access to, so that we can try to troubleshoot some of the struggles that we're having with learning in 2020 and even going forward. So as you have things to add, just click on the plus. And when you do that, you could put the title of what the resource is, write a little something about it, and then you can even add links to it. You can add pictures, you can add video. There's all sorts of things that you can add to this. And so as you have resources that you would like to add, please do that. So as I was advising, one of the things that you can do to lighten your load this year is to laugh. And so here's a video to help with that.
It's been a long day. Before I go to bed, I better iron my work clothes for tomorrow. First question, can anybody tell me where the Zoom background is that shows me living childless and debt-free?
Hi, kids. I am teaching from inside a closet today. I know the lighting may not be the best, but as a parent, I have found it is the only way to escape my children and stop them from interrupting. I feel like the kids on Jurassic Park. If we don't move, maybe they'll leave us alone. Dalton, it is 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, and I'm in the shower. Can this question not wait until last tomorrow?
New email. We understand this can be stressful, so we have assembled this easy list of 145 strategies for you to use while teaching online. Read over them and be prepared to discuss all of them at the next Zoom meeting tomorrow. Be ready. Oh, great. Of course.
All right, next up, we're going to cover quadratic equation. That better not be the fridge. This is the 18th time today. Why am I paying AC and for my fridge to run when we can just leave the fridge open all day, apparently? Yes, I am wearing a mask inside of my house while teaching. Has nothing to do with the virus. I just have two young boys that have been inside my house for 2 months and unable to leave. And at this point, the smells are unbearable. Guys, come on. Can y'all please be quiet? I'm trying to teach here. Can you mute yourself? Or I'm just going to mute. I'm going to mute all the mics. That's what I got to do, all right? And, okay. That was just my house. It's still the same. It's the chaos here. Fine. What is it? Yes. Yeah, there are 2 O's in Google. Yeah, that's correct. And there is 1 O in the word cold, as in the temperature of the shower I'm about to take after this.
Hello? Yeah, I can see you. I can see you perfectly clear on my screen. I muted you for a reason. You wouldn't quit talking. And now you're calling me? I muted you.
Do what makes you happy, even if it's going to bed late when you know you have an early morning like that guy.
I can't do this, Sam. I know. It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are. like in the great stories, Mr. Frugal. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing. The shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you. That meant something. Even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frugal, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going. Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? There's some good in this world, Mr. Frugal. And it's worth fighting.
And most importantly, keep hope, especially when you have none. Knowing that even the most insignificant people can make a significant difference. We, as teachers, are a part of the story that really matters. Our stories will stay with our students. They mean something because we don't turn back. And to close, I want to share one of my favorite quotes from the Renaissance artist Michelangelo. Unfortunately, not the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Michelangelo said, "In every block of marble, I see a statue. I have only to hew away the rough walls that imprison the lovely apparition to reveal it." Our students are blocks of marble that we have to chisel away to be a part of revealing the masterpiece that they are. And that's the same thing with this year, with 2020, with learning during COVID-19. We're just chiseling away the rough walls so that we can reveal the beauty that's on the other side. I hope that you all have a wonderful school year. And remember, if you need anything, reach out to Brenda Chapman at the Oklahoma Department of Education or our friends at the Oklahoma Alliance for Geographic Education.